Yes, sir!
Broadcasting live from the Bud Light Studio.
I love Arkansas. I love everything here. Give me that thing here. Woo!
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Why did that happen in Fayetteville, Arkansas?
Dixon Street. It'll get you.
Streaming live from
Hit that line.
.com.
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
This is Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Phil, you're one of the best baseball announcers in the country, and Ty, you're one of the best up-and-coming young talents in the broadcasting industry. You really do your homework.
It is my pleasure to offer you the opportunity to be the head football coach at the University of Arkansas.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. Woo Pig Suey.
Hey, hold on. It's almost halftime.
Now, we had a promo earlier here on ESPN Arkansas where our on-air announcer, the one who doesn't host the show, posited the idea that it's nice when every game is game day, but if only that was true. If only that was true. Well, you know what today is? Ty, take a guess. Take a guess. I know it's Wednesday, it's hump day, all those things, but what is today really for us?
Game day.
Today's game day, my man. Finally get a game. An Arkansas Razorback basketball game, an SEC game, an SEC road game, and an SEC road game that will be an awfully difficult one against LSU. So we're fired up about finally getting a game to talk about. I don't have a box score to tear up from last weekend's victory against Texas A&M, but how about I just at 1 o'clock tear up somebody's team statistics, and we'll figure it out from there. I remember positing a couple of questions yesterday. And if you read Bob Holt's piece in the Democrat Gazette today, and we'll have Bob on tomorrow for a post-mortem of sorts of today's game. I know Bob will be at the PMAC in Baton Rouge. But he wrote quite a bit about Eric Musselman's path to get to Fayetteville and how important the city of Baton Rouge and the 1 year he spent at LSU was to making him now the Arkansas Razorback basketball coach. It, of course, was that moment where Eric Musselman made the decision to give it the old college try and spurn what looked like could have been a pretty comfortable situation for him, at least for a year, with Flip Saunders at the Minnesota Timberwolves. So he takes a leap of faith with Johnny Jones and LSU, spends 1 year there, has good success, especially recruiting Ben Simmons, gets the head coaching job at Nevada. You know what he did there. You know what he's doing so far at Arkansas midway through his first year. It got me thinking a little bit, and I put it out on Twitter yesterday. Today's it's kind of the anniversary. I don't know exactly the date, but it was January of 2001 when I did make the move to the natural state, a state I'd never been to, with the exception of just interviewing for the Travelers job, which was the reason that I did make it to Little Rock originally. By the way, for those of you who are on our live stream here, our video stream, I'm having some trouble keeping my tablet upright. So I'm just going to say, oh, there it goes. It finally stuck for a moment. And the only reason that I was able to even get an interview with the Travelers was because I knew somebody that had worked there. I'd worked for a guy in 1995, somebody I think you know, Ty, Taylor Carr. Taylor was on the board for the Jim Elder Good Sports Fund, which you know well because you got their scholarship. Mm-hmm. He's friends with Susie Elder, and I worked for him as a broadcast intern for a single-A team in Fayetteville, North Carolina. He had made Arkansas his home for a long time. Even before that, just took a couple of years to try minor league baseball. Eventually made his way back to Little Rock, worked for the Travelers. He got in with the people there. A few years later, the job opens up. He says, I know somebody who's in radio. He's young. He's willing to make the move, and let's see if he's the right guy. And here it is, 20 years later, and I'm doing a show with you, Ty, and I'm not caring about the Travelers too much. We're talking about Arkansas Razorback baseball and basketball and football for 2 hours a day. So, if you were Eric Musselman and you're thinking, where is the place that I might lay my head for a long time in my career? And it seems that Arkansas could be that place if you're able to continue any sort of success that you've had right now under him. You'd like to think that he will be at Arkansas for a long time. But it was a circuitous route to get where he is. Did you know he worked in 16 different cities as a basketball coach, whether it was in I wanted to call it the D League, but the old CBA, the NBA, and now college basketball. That's in a career that dates back into the late 90s, and he's been in 7 of those cities for just 1 year, and that includes Baton Rouge. But now he makes a return to Baton Rouge. Hopefully it'll be a triumphant one. And it just, we asked the question yesterday, if Daniel Gafford had stuck around, if he surprised everybody, would Eric Musselman he be the coach, or would Mike Anderson still be here? Well, I guess the question now is, what if Eric Musselman had decided to take the safe job, I guess call it the safe job, with Flip Saunders in Minnesota and spurn college basketball? I mean, I would imagine he might be in a good place. Maybe Arkansas would be in a good place, but they would not be together, and not be together in LSU today for sure.
Yeah, Muswet met with the media yesterday, and this is the story that Phil just explained in his path ending up to LSU and then eventually Arkansas.
Decision to go to LSU was kind of a family decision, I guess, because with my dad being the first coach of the Timberwolves and getting a call from Flip Saunders, who had played for my dad and I had idolized, I wanted to wear his number 14, when I played, and Flip being the head coach, part owner, running the front office, it would have probably been something that a lot of familiarity. But as a family, we made a decision that we wanted to stick with the college route, and I'm overly joyed that I did that. But it was a kind of a turning point on where my career and our family's life was going to go.
Phil, I think Arkansas fans at this point are more than happy of what he's done at Arkansas and the projection of the Razorback basketball program moving forward. And I think if you were going to compare his career to someone, it's another former coach inside the state, and that's Chris Beard. Think about his travel destinations and the different awkward leagues that he's coached in and the success he's had. Now, obviously, Chris has had more success at the collegiate level, particularly the D1 level, than Eric to this point with that national championship appearance plus an Elite Eight appearance. But they have kind of similar paths where they went the unorthodox way of coaching in a bunch of different leagues, a bunch of different destinations before they got to where they were. I don't know. Again, Chris Beard was a guy that Arkansas fans thought that they could lure to Fayetteville last year. He got that contract extension and stayed in Lubbock, and obviously they're thrilled to have him down there. And I think Arkansas fans are also thrilled to have Eric Musselman where he is right now. And you hope, if they have continued success, that you won't. We always talk about how players, you never want great players to get out of the state. Mm-hmm. The same can be said about great coaches. You don't want great coaches to get out of the state and go elsewhere to what they think grass right, greener. But like I said, it's a pretty cush job when you're winning at Arkansas. It's hard to beat sometimes, Phil.
Well, he certainly seems to enjoy the atmosphere that he has seen at home and on the road, with the way that Arkansas fans travel to Georgia Tech and to Indiana. I don't know what the setup will be like tonight at LSU. Admittedly, a smaller arena. They don't draw as many fans, but this could sort of be like an added-on pep rally for the college football championship game. Yeah. I'll assume there's going to be a pretty riled-up crowd for LSU's conference home opener. And they've tried to turn around after a 2-game losing streak that saw them. I saw you pointed this out. They've got 4 losses, but 3 of them are by 2 points. Admittedly, and this is the one that's got to scare LSU and give Arkansas. Now, it's not that Arkansas needs to look at anything they've done at their home building and think, well, that's why we can beat them. The way the Hogs are playing right now, they seem like a pretty supremely confident bunch. But to be down, we mentioned this yesterday, to be down by 26 at home to East Tennessee says something was going wrong, mightily wrong at that point. Maybe it was the December blues. Because, you're playing 1 game a week at that point. It can be awfully difficult to stay consistent. But if they're down by 26 at home to East Tennessee, lose that game by 11, you're going to have ample opportunity to pick up a victory today. Although you're going to have to defend the 3 well. You're going to have to defend the 2 well more than anything, because LSU is awfully accurate inside the 3-point line. They're shooting, 52% on 2-point shots. And so Arkansas has defended really well around the arc. That won't have to change at all today. And it's not that they haven't defended well inside the arc. They've just defended well no matter where the opponent has the ball on the court.
Yeah, Phil, you mentioned the statistics of them shooting 58%. That's second in the country.
It's 58%. I think I shorted them by 6 percentage points.
That's okay. So, I mean, that's second in all of college basketball. Their effective field goal is 13th. This is a really good offensive team, and Arkansas is going to have to bring it defensively tonight. So far, the Razorbacks' their offense hasn't necessarily traveled this season, but their defense has. You hope that they can contain Smart, Mays, and some of these other guys. I think Watford's one of their fantastic freshmen, former 4 or 5 star. They're going to have their hands full tonight. I'm telling you, this is going to be a big showcase game, a real barometer test to see where this Arkansas basketball team is. They perform well at home. They perform shaky on the road. Can they get a big SEC road win tonight to start 2-0 in conference play?
Our calls and text line open all throughout the first hour. Bill King joins us hour number 2. We'll talk more about the college football championship game with Bill. 877-377-6963 for calls and texts today here on Halftime. We will be right back.
You're listening to Halftime. This is the Morning Rush.
It's amazing the defense that Arkansas basketball is playing right now. I mean, I just don't see in any way they ever get blown out by any team in this conference. They're no longer going to go on the road and get blown out by 20, 25 points like you've seen previously. This defense and what Eric Musselman has been able to coach these guys to do is what's going to carry them into having a lot of success once SEC play really gets rolling.
Don't miss the Morning Rush. Weekdays from 6 till 9. Only on ESPN 95.3.
Hi, folks. Larry Rath here with a better way to drive at Rath Auto Resources. New year, new you? That's a lot of pressure. How about new year, new ride? Now, we can make that happen. Just resolve to start driving better in the Rath Road Ready vehicle that's perfect for you, like a 2018 Toyota Corolla LE or a 2018 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport. Your choice, just $14,993, and make no payments till spring. If you're like me and your holiday was sponsored by your credit card, that should give you more breathing room than losing a pant size. Waiting on a tax refund? Ask one of our non-commissioned solution specialists how you can use your W-2 to start driving better now. If you're keeping your current ride, our Meineke Car Care Center is there to make sure your car outlasts that new gym membership with buy 3, get 1 free on all tires and a basic oil change for only $24.95. Start driving better today with no payments till spring at Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, or online at rathauto.com.
Requires bank approval. Vehicle purchase price affects trade allowance.
Do you own apartment complexes, condos, and rental property? Then you have made a great investment. Now make another great decision by calling Trinity Multifamily to help you maximize your return. Trinity Multifamily offers full-service property management, marketing, leasing, sales, and all the services to make your cash flow. Take the hassles and frustrations out of ownership and call Trinity Multifamily at 479-452-1817 or online at trinitymultifamily.com. Trinity Multifamily, your teammate in the real estate game.
Head to toe, it's gotta be Gelco for hard work and the great outdoors.
With quality and price and comfort you like, and savings that you're looking for.
We've got the shoes and boots, steel toes too, outerwear and a whole lot more.
Head to toe, it's gotta be Gelco
for hard work and the great outdoors.
Is your home at least 10 years old and served by OG&E? OG&E is offering Arkansas customers a free weatherization program to increase your comfort and lower your bills. A trained crew will perform an energy audit at no cost to you, and if your home qualifies, our crews will install measures that will save you money. The services provided through this program are absolutely free to qualifying homes. If you could benefit from free home weatherization improvements, call OG&E at 1-800-272-9741. That's 1-800-272-9741.
What's your family's security worth to you? Have you put off adding a security system to your home for another year? Or are you just waiting for someone to break in to be that final straw? Use your income tax return to add a security system to your home for as little as $495 and $15.95 a month. Guardtronic has a package to help secure your home. Call today for a free estimate, 479-785-2323, or visit the website, guardtronic.com. License EO50.
Hi, I'm Kelly Smith, owner of Dixie Digital Imaging. Do you hate your current mailing machine? Is dealing with that giant company not worth the effort any longer? That's the issue we had at Dixie Digital. While looking for a better solution for our own use, we partnered with FP for Mailing and Mailroom Solutions. We now offer access to FP's entire line of postage machines, folder inserters, software, and more. Local service with a local company. For more information, give Dixie Digital a call at 783-6600 or visit our website at dixiedigital.com. Dixie Digital Imaging, bringing document innovations to the River Valley.
This is ESPN 95.3. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Out of the shotgun now as Cornelius comes into the backfield here for second and goal. And they give him the ball. Cornelius scores it. What a call.
SEC Tuesday night basketball yesterday. The road team picked up victories in 3 of 4 games, and only lowly Texas A&M picks up a home win. They defeated Ole Miss. Ole Miss barely shows up with just 47 points. Tennessee wins at Mizzou. Florida takes a victory away from Carolina in Columbia, and Kentucky knocks down Georgia in Athens. So maybe it's a good day to be a road team in the SEC today. And you know what? The road team has won 4 of the last 5 meetings between Arkansas and LSU, including both games last year. And the Razorbacks are a 6-point underdog, according to all of the lines I pay attention to here. Opened up as a 4-point underdog, and so a little bit of the money leaning towards the LSU Tigers. This is a team that can score. They have 5 players averaging 11 points or more. They've got a pretty short rotation, just like Arkansas does, so I don't think you're going to see too many timeouts called to get other players on the court, and there's not going to be a lot of in and out. Skylar Mays leads the way for the Tigers with an average of just under 16 points per game. He is their most prevalent three-point shooter, making 19 at just over 40%. And no matter where you've got somebody on the court, LSU's got somebody that can score. But then again, if you're Arkansas, and you said, Ty, I think you're right that more than anything, the defense has traveled for Arkansas, and maybe not the accuracy of shooting, a little more streaky on the downside on the road. But I mean, you look at the last 2 road games: 71 points at Indiana, 79 points at Western Kentucky. That's with scoring only 4 points in the overtime period, and that outscores the Razorbacks from their victory against Texas A&M, which was more of a defensive effort. But you got to play pretty stellar defense on the road. That's how you're going to end up with a victory at LSU.
Yeah, especially with the 7th best three-point shooting team in the country. And, well, I mean, LSU has 5 guys that can score, and they've got 5 guys that are averaging double figures right now. So this is going to be a game where Arkansas can't really sleep on anyone at the court at times. They're going to have to play defense all across, and a lot of these guys can shoot, so they're going to have to be prepared for that. And, Phil, you mentioned in segment 1, I'm curious to see the atmosphere in the crowd tonight. Is this going to be a charged, juiced-up crowd that's thriving off their national champ appearance come Monday, or is this just going to be an afterthought? Does no one on campus care about this because of all the thought and all the effort that's been put into the football team right now? I think it's going to be one or the other. I think you're going to see a lethargic crowd tonight, or you're going to see a raucous one. And obviously, you want the first one. You want a crowd that doesn't really care about basketball right now, but I'm really curious to see what happens. And it's the Pete Maravich Center, right?
The PMAC.
Yeah, the PMAC.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. And I'll tell you what, there are seats available right now. If you just go to the LSU website, plenty of seats available, even in the corner end zones on the first level. And could you imagine, let's flip this around. Could you imagine if it was Arkansas that was about to play for a football national title this coming Monday, and you're about to have your first home SEC game with Eric Musselman as your coach, and people haven't quite been as jazzed about basketball because the football team has made this incredible run to an SEC championship, the first ever, and an appearance in the football playoff, and now the championship game. But what do you think Bud Walton Arena would be like tonight at 8 o'clock, 5 days before playing in a college football playoff? They're not even able to sell out this game at the PMAC. You would probably have to allow people to stand on the roof at Bud Walton Arena.
And I think one of the other things you have to look at with this LSU basketball team and the fans that are attending tonight is they have lost 4 games this season, and they got blown out by East Tennessee State, which is just such a weird game that they've lost. I know Steve Forbes was the guy that Arkansas was connected to during the coaching search, so there's that little spot there. And then you look at with the other games, they've lost 3 out of 4 by 2 points. So they've been close. It's not like they've been getting blown out. The only really weird game was the East Tennessee State. And I think that's kind of played into it because there was a lot of hype heading into the season based on Skylar Mays coming back and Smart also coming back. So I think LSU fans expected a little more out of this team for them to start out 9-4 in the gate. But with your point, Phil, if Arkansas was 12-1 with a national championship in football waiting on Monday, and LSU came to town for their first home game of the SEC slate, I absolutely agree with you. This place would be sold out. And it's weird, and I'd have to ask Hutch or Hod Stats or a guy that really compiles stats concerning Arkansas basketball, but I don't remember the last time an Arkansas basketball game was sold out midweek. Now, there's been plenty that have been sold out on Saturdays, but I can't remember the last time you had a sellout during the week. It doesn't ring a bell. If someone knows, let me know. Just text us in, 877-377-6963. But I think that's a lot more seldom than you would see the Saturday sellouts, Phil.
Interested to see how Adriel Bailey is used. I mean, you're not going to I know we talked yesterday about the idea of this team playing 5 guards sometimes because of how strongly they finished more defensively than anything else against Texas A&M. And keep in mind, Texas A&M's best player, 6'9" Josh Nebo. So even with Nebo on the court, they weren't able to take advantage of that size advantage without Arkansas's tallest player at 6'6" or 6'7", whatever Adriel is today, not even on the court. LSU, they're not the biggest team. They're sort of built a little bit like Arkansas. A lot of 6'4" swing guards, but they do have the one post player. That's the freshman Trendon Watford, 6'9", and can step out, hit the 3-pointer. He's averaging just under 13 points per game. A freshman that's getting over 26.5 minutes. And you wonder if you're Will Wade and LSU, they spread things out quite a bit. Are they going to try to go at Adriel with Trendon Watford? That'd be interesting too, because Adriel is sort of like this wily veteran that is able to play taller than his actual height because he does still have this pretty ridiculous athleticism and explosive leaping ability. And he has done very well at limiting the touches in the paint. I don't know Watford's girth, his how big he is compared to his size, how his height is.
Was he 6'9", 6'10", right?
They've got him listed at 6'9" on the roster. Yeah. So I mean, look, I mean, what was the big man from Indiana? I forgot his name.
Trayson Jackson Davis.
Trayson Jackson Davis. Arkansas had trouble defending him in the first half, but made the changes defensively in the second half that they were able to figure out. And then you only scored, 4 points in the second half, right?
Last bucket came with like 8 minutes to go in the game, which is just incredible halftime adjustment from Eric Musselman and his staff.
Well, and that's one thing about Eric Musselman that this is somebody that does make some pretty great adjustments and has shown the ability to change an approach mid-game, during a timeout or right there at halftime, and the team has responded to those changes.
Yeah.
Text line open 877-377-6963. Zach and Harrison says, I don't mind a raucous crowd. Seems they thrived off the big crowd at Indiana. They're different crowds. You remember what it was like at LSU at the end of the season last year when Will Wade was under investigation and fans were making signs for him inside the PMAC and shouting down at the then athletic director, who I think has stepped aside since.
What's his name? He was like, Bill always said he was the most hated AD in the country. Why am I blanking on him? It'll come to me.
Well, I mean, and look, LSU doesn't have the numbers that Indiana has.
Joe Oliva, that's it.
Joe Oliva, that's it. But Indiana seemed to be a little quiet at times. Fans sitting on their hands. I think an LSU basketball crowd can still get raucous just because it's LSU fans, and they're going to show up hammered, and they're going to show up, just ready to be LSU fans, which you know what that means.
Phil, I'm curious how Adriel does in his last appearance in his his home state in Louisiana. He's from Clarence, Louisiana. How charged up is he to play in this basketball game? The way he's played this season, the way he's progressed under Eric Musselman, has been fantastic. We were talking about yesterday and the day what the team looked like without Daniel Gafford. Well, I'll tell you what, Adriel Bailey would not have the same resurgence he's had this season if Daniel Gafford was still playing, because he wouldn't get the minutes and he wouldn't get the opportunities that has been given to him that's allowed him to flourish in this system. You were worried a little bit in this last game against Texas A&M when he went down. He came back in. He has been cleared to play by Eric Musselman. Eric Musselman said that in the media presser yesterday, but you wonder, they didn't really go into what it was. It's just kind of like a knee thing, so you wonder if he's going to be hobbled or hampered a little bit by that in the game tonight. And he is probably, Phil, would you say he is, I'd have to choose my words carefully here, is he the most important player on this team, you think?
Bailey?
Is that, I don't know if I can, I don't know if I feel
if
like
you're a
100%.
defensive-minded team and your best defender is Adriel Bailey, maybe there's a case to be said there. Now, I've made my case about Jimmy Witt.
Yeah.
But that was about, 4 or 5 weeks ago. Since then, if you're a team that's built on defense, Bailey has been, by the analytics, your best defender. So maybe he is your most important player. But then again, they still played so well defensively without him for the last 10, 12 minutes on Saturday against the Aggies.
And you got to remember, y'all, at one point, I need to look this up during the break, but at one point he was the #1 defender rating in college basketball in 2019. Not the SEC, not like the South. In college basketball, he had the best defensive rating of any Division I college basketball player. That's just remarkable, man, to be where he was to this year. And that's a credit to Eric Musselman, his staff, and just Adrio's improvement from his junior year to his senior year, Phil.
Let's get to some calls and texts after the break. 877-377-6963, Cherokee Casino Hotline. We'll talk about Arkansas basketball. Got some baseball notes coming up as well. Good to be with you on a game day Wednesday / hump day, whatever you want to call it, and we'll come back after this break.
I just said shooters shoot. You're listening to Halftime.
We've invented a new messaging system using the crisp sounds of Bud Light. Crisp Code. Lesson 42. This is how you say happy hour. It's happy hour. Let's go get some Bud Lights. That's it for today.
Brewed with no corn syrup. Bud Light. Crisp. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer. Anheuser-Busch. St. Louis, Missouri.
When's the last time you did date night at Doe's? Doe's Steakhouse always has the charm and great atmosphere. Plus, the area's largest selection of in-stock wines. And all of the award-winning steaks at Doe's are perfect for sharing. And there's no charge for an extra side or salad when you share. Doe's is proud to be the premier steakhouse in Fort Smith at 422 North 3rd. Open 5 till 9 Monday through Thursday and 5 till 10 p.m. on Friday and Saturday. So make it a date night at Doe's for a great experience every time.
Your fence is more than a decoration. It's a reflection of its owner. Choosing a fence company should be done with integrity and quality in mind. The Fence Man has been providing fencing and security solutions for over 40 years. An in-house custom iron and gate department, plus an access control department. The Fence Man offers services other companies aren't equipped to do. The Fence Man, fencing and security solutions to protect what matters most. 479-782-3936 or online at thefencemancompany.com, a division of Quantum Property Services.
The best TV experience in the nation is available locally with personal service from WOW World of Wireless, your neighborhood professional Dish authorized retailer. Dish has the Hopper 3, the most advanced DVR, and delivers a premium viewing experience. Tired of running out of DVR space? With the Hopper 3, you can record up to 2,000 hours of your favorite programming and watch your very own favorite channels and DVR recording anywhere you go on your phone or tablet. Call now, WOW World of Wireless at 877-305-DISH. That's 877-305-3474 for more details. Or stop by our location at the corner of Phoenix and Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith or visit us online at shopwownow.com. Get the Hopper 3 today by calling WOW World of Wireless at 877-305-DISH. That's 877-305-3474. Or online at shopwownow.com.
Monthly equipment fees and other restrictions apply. Recording hours vary. 2,000 hours based on SD programming. Remote viewing requires internet connection and compatible mobile device.
Kevin Hickey Law has a great team of people who are dedicated to your legal cares. Kevin Hickey's law team is made up of experienced, caring individuals centered around divorce, child and custody, DHS matters, and more. Serving the Fort Smith area and Northwest Arkansas. Make the right decision. Call Kevin Hickey Law at 479-434-2414. And for Northwest Arkansas, 479-802-6560. Or the web at kevinhickeylaw.com, where our clients are our main priority from start to finish.
This is ESPN 95.3. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Baseline drive. Sills feeds Joe left corner. Step back. 3 on the way from Isaiah. Perfect. Nothing but the bottom for Joe. And the Hogs are up 45-28.
I've been saying he's the best shooter in the country.
Isaiah shooting 35% behind the three-point line coming into this game today against the LSU Tigers. Just looking through our stat lines here, he ranks as the second best three-point shooter according to volume, making 3.8 three-pointers per game, ranking in the SEC, and third in the SEC in three-point shooting percentage. So full night of basketball for your viewing pleasure. The SEC Network carrying Mississippi State at Alabama at 6 o'clock, followed by Auburn hosting Vanderbilt. And that's the same time that the Hogs and the LSU Tigers get going. Of course, we'll carry it here 8 o'clock, 7:30 with the pregame, brought to you by Learfield IMG. All right, text line here. 877-377-6963. Shane and Dirk says he's not feeling well about this game. Don't worry about that, Shane. I wasn't feeling good about Arkansas's game at Indiana. And I said that publicly, and they won anyway. I guess I'm just nervous going into any road game, no matter where you are, because in college basketball, it just seems that's the toughest place to win on the road. But Shane says it's because he thinks LSU matches up well because they don't have a big man guarding our point guards. And he used the term plural in point guards. So, and this is one of the things that makes Arkansas such a difficult matchup, and why potentially going with 5 guards at times in this game, as long as you can find a way to keep the ball out of the post, it's going to be awfully difficult to keep an eye on 5 guards who have who are all pretty quick, especially if LSU keeps 6'9" freshman Watford on the court. But other than that, I mean, they do have the same sort of athletes that Arkansas has. So it is a good matchup for LSU. Then again, what did you tell me as far as don't you get a 6-point buffer at home? I think Vegas looks at this more like an even matchup that's based upon who's the home team.
Mm-hmm. And one of the things you were talking about rebounding, Phil, Must touched on this earlier, that they've done a good job at tipping the ball, not necessarily rebounding it off the first jump with the big man just coming down with the 2 hands. But these smaller guys having to tip it to themselves or one another, they've still been able to get that. I know that Hutch has written this article for Hogbeat talking about how they have a better rebounding percentage to this point compared to last year, even with Daniel Gafford. Now, you have to take that statistic with a grain of salt because they haven't played entirely through conference play to this point. But I think, like he said, the ability to just tip the ball to one another, use the quickness that you have to beat the other big men that the opponents might have on the floor of the ball. Yes, you're not still going to be a great rebounding team based on the size that you employ on the floor, but what Arkansas is able to do on the other end makes it such a mismatched nightmare for the opponent. But I'm curious tonight, like Shane from Dirks is wondering, is it going to be enough of a mismatch to get over the hump and get that win? And again, LSU, they can fill it up from 3. So Arkansas has to hopefully have one of those games. This is like the unstoppable force versus the immovable object. Like which is going to prevail tonight? Is LSU going to be able to knock down perimeter shots, or is Arkansas going to limit them and then really limit their entire offense based on that? But they do also, like we mentioned, have the second best 2-point percentage in college basketball. So it's like a double-edged sword. Like, do Do you attack this? Do you attack that? It's just a tough matchup tonight. We'll see what happens.
Well, they hit 10 3-pointers against Tennessee to open up conference play on Saturday. And Javonte Smart, 6'4" swing guard, hit 5 3-pointers, led the way with 21 points. So, I mean, they do have 5 scorers that can go off.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. In Arkansas, I don't know if you'd say you've got 4 players in double figures. Desi Sills at 10, Jimmy Witt 13.4, Isaiah Jones scoring 17.4, and Mason Jones leading the team at 19.5 points. But you really just feel like it's Jones or Joe that could go off. And it's not to slight Jimmy Witt, but there's only so many turnaround jumpers inside the paint that I think he's going to find in the SEC to be a guy that goes off for like 25 points. I think he can get his 15 to 16 to 17. But you do have this sense that LSU has more overall scorers on the team than Arkansas does.
Mm-hmm. You were mentioning earlier this week your love for Desi Sills. I think a lot of people really like how he plays on the defensive end and when he hits a shot on the offensive end, and he's just kind of crafty when he gets in the lane. Nate texts in, I think Desi is our most important player depending on the opponent. The difference between him on the court and off the court against A&M was night and day. And I think when you look at Desi Sills, Phil, it was wonderful to watch him flourish at the end of last season from 3. Like he just upped it. He was shooting at one point like 40-something% when down the stretch. Now, that hasn't been the case this season, but you hope he can catch fire. Like I said, the comparison to Anton Beers there, where he's tough-nosed defensively, and then when he finds a shot, he finds a shot. Plus, he's just a lefty, and lefties are always harder to guard than right. It's just like
you love the lefty thing, don't you?
I love the lefty. I mean, it's like you talk about lefty pitchers. I love lefty basketball players because your entire life you're taught, and it's just in your mind to shade a certain way, to shade someone to their left. And when you have a half a second to think about something, and you've been doing that motion for the same 18 or 19 years, all of a sudden you think, oh, this guy's a lefty. He's already passed you. He's already gone to a strong-handed bite. That's why I love lefty basketball players. But they're going to need – you can't just have Isaiah Joe and Mason Jones scoring for you tonight. They're going to need some other guys to step up, whether it's Jimmy Witt, whether it's Adrian Bailey giving you 8 points or something. I mean, this is going to be not just a defensive performance, but I can't see Arkansas winning this game unless they score more than 65 points. And that's probably putting the bar pretty low. They might have to score 70 in order to win this game tonight.
Well, they've scored fewer than 65 in 2 games, winning both of them at Georgia Tech and at home against Montana. So, I mean, this is the thing that they've shown they can win games in a multitude of ways. By the way, Desi Sills, remember he had that awful start? He hit only 2 3-pointers over the first 7 or 8 games. I think he was like 2 for 33, I want to say, something like that.
It was
awful.
Yeah.
It was awful. He's hit a 3 in 6 consecutive games. Starting to get that stroke back a little bit. It's nothing, really to write home about, but he's got that 3-point percentage up to 21.3. All right. 877-377-6963, the Cherokee Casino hotline. Basketball, a major topic today, and that will be the case tomorrow as well. Arkansas's women's team will be at South Carolina, taking on the 4th-ranked Gamecocks. In front, there probably going to be more people at the women's basketball game tomorrow than at the men's basketball game tonight. If I'm looking at LSU's home attendance, this is really something. I mean, LSU averaging just over 9,100 per game for their home games. Okay. There were over 12,000 at the South Carolina women's basketball SEC opener. So the Gamecocks will outdraw the Tigers, and who knows? They'll see a higher scoring game. I think that's for sure. South Carolina, one of the leading scoring teams in the nation, but Arkansas does score a little bit more. 83 points per game scored by Carolina. Arkansas right now is 4th in the nation at 86 points per game. So here you are, Ty, talking about in the men's game, you think that they're going to need to score at least 65 to win. You may see Arkansas and South Carolina combine for over 165 points tomorrow night in Columbia. So do you want to do the entire show tomorrow? Because I don't know if I'm going to have enough oxygen for the basketball game later on.
Yeah, if that happens, man, that's you're gonna be tired out. That's why I'm curious to when this Reaper squeezing thing happens. If you're gonna muster enough energy to call that game based on the fact that this team scores at such a high volume every single game. It seems like
I'll be coughing up
blood.
hot sauce with blood all at the same time. I don't think that'll be a very pretty sight.
We got a text, Phil, from the 870 saying, "I'm already mad thinking about Smart's shorts tonight." His short shorts. I don't remember Javonte Smart wearing short shorts last year. Do you?
Does he wear the old-fashioned 1980s style shorts all the way up?
The Pistol Pete
all the way up top to the top of the thigh?
I guess that didn't ring a bell to me, but I guess this guy from the 870, it's irritating to him.
Is that where we are now? I mean, to be honest, I haven't paid attention to the height of the shorts too often now. There used to be long ones. Let a guy wear short shorts if he wants to. Aaron in Clarksville says, yeah, he rolls them up high. But why would that make you mad? I don't really know if I understand that.
I almost think that would be
people get upset about the way a baseball player wears a hat sometimes. So why not get PO'd about the way a basketball player wears his shorts?
I figure an older gentleman would kind of take that as an honorable thing to do because that's how they used to do it back in the day. I thought they'd get mad at the baggy shorts. Like I remember I was playing basketball at the Little Rock Athletic Club, and this older gentleman was like, "Why do you wear your baggy shorts like that?" And I just had long shorts I was wearing at the time, so I was just like,
it's the old pull your pants up thing. All the older people like to tell the younger people, pull your pants up. By the way, if you are going to wear short shorts when you're playing pickup basketball, then you have to shoot your free throws underhanded. I think these things go together. Pretty sure of that.
And have good legs, I guess, too, right?
Yeah. You might have to shave them. Who knows? 877-377-6963 to get with halftime. Come back to close up the first hour right after this.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson. Follow them on Twitter at Phil Elson PXP and at Ty Sports Radio.
It's a new year, a time for fresh starts and positive changes. Let us help your vehicle reflect your good vibes by making it look its best. If you find yourself a victim of the winter weather, we will work with your insurance company and help you throughout the process. We offer a lifetime warranty and a complete interior detail with all repairs. We can quickly restore cloudy headlights, making them look like new and brightening your road for better vision on these dark winter nights. Think of us at Evans Body Shop when you need any auto body repairs.
Evans Body Shop, where we meet the nicest people by accident.
The new year is here, and Art's Barbecue and Burgers is ready with healthy choices on their menu. Art's Barbecue and Burgers has smoked chicken that will melt in your mouth, a variety of salads to choose from, plus a grilled chicken breast that's always a smart option. And use the Waiter app to have the full menu at Art's Barbecue and Burgers brought to your home or business. Art's Barbecue and Burgers, giving you healthy choices to start the new year off right. Art's Barbecue and Burgers, next to Aaron's on Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith.
Want to hear something amazing? Discover matches all the cash back you earn at the end of your first year automatically, dollar for dollar, with no limit on how much you can earn. Amazing. It's kind of like being showered with cash from above, which would also be pretty amazing. It's so amazing that millions of people a year are getting their cash back matched. They just can't get enough. So whether it's raining down on your head or raining into your bank account, it's your cash back, and Discover is matching it. Discover Cashback Match. What are you waiting for? Learn more at discover.com/match.
World-class trout fishing is the star of the show at Gaston's White River Resort, where a few days away from all the worries and stress will make all right in your world. Gaston's has friendly, experienced guides to help you land your limit. Enjoy your stay at Gaston's in one of their private cottages, or reserve a lodge for up to 20 people. Call now and let Gaston's help you plan your next getaway on the White River. 870-431-5202. That's 870-431-5202. Or learn more at Gastons.com. Gaston's, a first-class time, every time.
What happened to paying one price and getting everything included? You buy an airline ticket and pay extra to bring a change of clothes, book a hotel room, and you're shelling out for Wi-Fi and overpriced bottled water. Shipping and handling. Really? Imagine my delight when I found out roadside assistance is now included with my shelter insurance auto policy. So if I get a flat tire or need a jump, I just call and they take care of me. No additional cost. Some restrictions apply, so learn more at shelterinsurance.com.
Call me, Wade Gilkey, in Fort Smith.
Or call me, Jim Allen, in Charleston.
Tri-Hill Turf offers the highest quality turf and pest services. Hey, you say those are big words. Well, let's see. Tri-Hill Turf and Pest has a company agronomist, state and nationally certified technicians, free soil testing, and they even have precision GPS guided application equipment. Now that's high tech. For over 30 years, Tri-Hill Turf and Pest has used the latest application technology, and they strive for turf and pest excellence. They are your local turf and pest experts. Call the local team at 782-0404. Tri-Hill Turf and Pest.
Tired of all the broken promises and broken equipment at your current gym? The Fort Smith Athletic Club is the nicest and most well-equipped fitness and tennis club in the area, with a state-of-the-art fitness center, Pilates, fitness classes, personal and group training, and the best tennis facilities in the region. 7 outdoor courts, 5 indoor courts, plus pickleball and racquetball courts, and free childcare is included. The Fort Smith Athletic Club. Call 452-4031 for membership information.
You've worked hard your whole life anticipating the day you could finally retire. If that day is near, there are 5 things you need to do. Spend wisely, understand your retirement plan distribution options, plan for your required minimum distributions, know your Social Security options, and consider phasing. Call Brad Lewis at United Financial Advisors to discuss these steps in detail at 242-7466 or through our website at ufadvisors.net.
Securities and advisory services offered through Royal Alliance Associates, member FINRA SIPC. United Financial Advisors is a marketing destination.
This is ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey!
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Sills jump stop. Harris cuts, feeds. Cheney for a throwdown. Harris with a nice feed. He gets the assist. Cheney with the bucket. The Hogs are up by 15 again.
Back on halftime to close up the first hour. We are brought to you by The Fence Man. If you own a business that needs more security or needs more curb appeal, a new fence from The Fence Man can give you both. The Fence Man specializes in custom installations, and they've been doing it for over 40 years. Gates and controlled access card readers and much more. The Fence Man can come over for a very quick, no-obligations quote. All you got to do is call 479-782-3936. Then ask for Henry. That's the Fence Man, a division of Quantum Property Services. One more number to give you is the call text line 877-377-6963. Perfectgame.org that covers all things amateur baseball came out with their preseason All-America list yesterday. And the Hogs got both Casey Martin and Heston Kjerstad onto that list. And now Perfect Game came out with their preseason top 25. And for those of you who are disappointed that Collegiate Baseball News chose Arkansas to open the season at number 9, may I present you Perfect Game. They've got Arkansas at number 4. Nice, because they had Arkansas at 13th for last year, and the Hogs made it to Omaha anyway. Ranked them 6th in 2018, and Arkansas finished just short of the national championship. So you knew there would be a publication or 2 or 3 that have Arkansas within that top 8 that would make people think that publication thinks they're going to the College World Series. This list has defending national champion Vanderbilt number 2, Louisville number 1, Vandy number 2, Texas Tech number 3, Arkansas number 4, Arizona State, Auburn, Miami, Mississippi State, UCLA, and Georgia rounding out the top 10.
So Arkansas, has there only been 2 rankings to this point, just collegiate baseball and then
D1 baseball, I think, comes out like either tomorrow or the day after.
Okay, so
it's preseason college baseball season, just like it's award season.
Yeah, so it's 4 on Perfect Game, 9 on collegiate baseball. We'll see what happens with the D1 rankings. But if you remember, if you go back to last year, one publication they were like 25th, the other like 13th. They were kind of like spread out all over the place. I'm curious to see what D1 and the other baseball rankings have them at, just because the projection, I mean, you've talked about what they lost, what they still have. Obviously, you still have Kjerstad, you still have Barton, but you're unsure of your bullpen. But then you have, 2 solid guys, starters, in Wicklander and Nolan. You wonder about the third guy. You've got young up-and-comers like Christian Franklin and others. It's just going to be an interesting season, but I think based on what the conversations I've had with you, that they're definitely still going to compete for the SEC, and that a super regional at least is definitely still in sight.
I don't think there's any doubt. Yeah, Brad and Royal earlier texted in asking if I'd discuss the Razorback weekend rotation. Ty just took you through it there. What'll be, I think, probably the most talked about position battle, if you could call it one, because both of them are going to be starting pitchers for this season, is who's the Friday night guy. You know, who's your Blaine Knight and your Isaiah Campbell and the guys like that from the last 2 years. Who gets the ball on Friday nights? And, of course, it'll come down to Noland and Wicklander. And I mean, Nolan's going to pick up a little miles per hour. He's going to be throwing harder, I think, than he did last year. Mm-hmm. I think he'll be pitching more in the low 90s than the high 80s, and maybe get into the mid 90s sometime. And with Wicklander, I mean, he already sort of sat at about 92, 93 sometimes. Maybe he will pick it up too. I think Wicklander's got at times the ability to be more dominant, but also more
sporadic,
more shaky, sporadic, more wild, more than anything, and that will hurt his ability to stay in as the Friday night guy. But if he's able, like I've said this a few times, if Patrick Wicklander gets his fastball command a little bit better, all right, if he gets it a lot better than at times last year, he could be truly dominant for this pitching staff this next year. And I think Nolan can too, but there's I think a little more electricity out of Wicklander's stuff, a little more swing and miss, at least from what I saw last year. But hey, baseball season begins in 38 days. Practice begins on the 24th officially. The guys are probably already there now doing something. So I'll be going over there to watch some bullpens, and maybe I can give you an up-close scouting report.
Well, I think fans are more interested in when the date's going to be with you and Arns going at it. I know the shoulder's getting rehabilitated at this point, but is there any chance that there's a miraculous recovery in that department?
I hate the way that I've presented this, too, because, I mean, I did make the challenge. I made the challenge to Arns in October.
Can't you just pump a needle in your arm and call it good?
I don't know. I've never needed to get the needle to feel better about something. You know, I never needed a cortisone shot. But I do want to make sure. Look, I'm not kidding about this. I'm not saying this because I'm afraid of the competition. I really do think I've done something to my right shoulder.
And go get an MRI or an X-ray or something.
I don't have
complaining about
well, hey,
it.
Now that we're in the new year, the better health insurance will kick in for me. So maybe I can get it done for posterity's sake, for competitive sake, and for our show's sake. Ty, it's it's for the honor of our radio show, and that should be enough to go spend whatever money I need to get an MRI. If you think I'm having shoulder surgery so I can pitch to Zach Arns, well, I've got 6 bridges in Little Rock to sell you, my friend.
I'm getting frustrated because this right foot type, heel type, ankle type thing. So I've had to pay for an MRI for my knee because I've torn my ACL. I thought it hurt it again. Didn't tear anything. And then I got an MRI on my ankle. It was my ankle. Now I feel like it's my heel, but I'm scared to have to pay for another $200, $300 MRI. That it's just annoying. And then the results come back and it's negative, and you're just like, why did I pay for that? Like, something's wrong, but I'm irritated because I can't really pinpoint and figure out exactly what it is. So I'm so sure of it that the MRI is in fact worth it. So, but it feels like based on the conversations we've had, you might need to go get that shoulder checked out, buddy.
I really think I do. I mean, I can't even. It's difficult to even do a push-up now. So, and I ran into our friend Porter, who's covering for the women's basketball team, and I saw him at the last home game, and he tried to give me a few exercises that I could do to get this shoulder a little stronger. I'm telling you, something's wrong with this thing. But I can still swing a bat, so if I can get Arns to switch up the roles here, if he can do the pitching and I would do the hitting, then, the injury's on him. Then it's up to him to have the Tommy John surgery or the rotator cuff surgery to get this thing going. Again, we got to get this done because I already threw the gauntlet down. It's like me saying to you, I'm not going to do this Reaper Squeezins thing because I threw the gauntlet down, so I've got to follow through, come hell or high water, or burning the heck out of my esophagus the day before a basketball or baseball game. So if you write the script, chances are you've got to be there to read the play.
Got to follow through on it. So, all right, other Arkansas news. Outside linebacker Brennan Scott, who's a 4-star in this 2020 class, was originally committed to Kansas. He is now decommitted from Les Miles, and the Jayhawks. He's set to visit Arkansas. I think it's this weekend, Phil, if I remember that correctly. So that's a guy that you could keep an eye on. They have gotten a decent amount of linebackers as of late, so I'm curious to see if that ends up happening. It's actually next weekend. He'll be in here for the Kentucky weekend. So that's a guy to keep an eye on. Another player in terms of football, Brendan Young, who has entered the transfer portal. He was a walk-on in 2017. 2018, he played special teams, and then 2019, Chad Morris awarded him a scholarship. He has entered his name in the transfer portal, according to Trey Biddy. So now you only have 15 seniors on this year's roster, which is it's one thing in basketball. That's not as big of a deal in basketball, but football, it's a little bigger deal, especially when you're trying to rebuild a program, Phil.
There really weren't that many seniors on this last team either. I mean, you already had a pretty big group of players leave after Chad Morris's first year, so it's kind of going to be 2 years in a row with an underwhelming number of seniors on your team.
Yeah. Got a text here from Billy asking about Zachary Evans, who's that 5-star running back out of Georgia who just was released from his national letter of intent from the Bulldogs. And Arkansas fans have obviously linked to Evans because he's from the Georgia area. Pittman coached there. From all indications, this guy seems like a problem to deal with. I don't think he participated in his state championship game. There's something going on there. I don't know if attitude or parents, but Nicky's also said that Texas A&M is after him pretty heavily. So that's just a guy that's like they see he's from Georgia, Sam Pittman connection. Maybe we can get him. Based on what Nicky's saying and other people are saying, it would be pretty shocking to see him in a Razorback uniform next year. Or maybe he could be a guy that just some way ends up. But I wouldn't anticipate that, Phil.
All right, we're coming up to the top of the hour here. I'm not going to ball up this stat page because I actually want to keep it for wherever we are in Columbia tonight.
There you go.
To watch this basketball game. Good crew on the call, too. Tom Hart on the play-by-play, Jimmy Dykes on color, and we've got Tom Hart scheduled to come on tomorrow to give his thoughts on what he sees from Arkansas basketball. Tomorrow we've got guests who were there calling and writing about the game with Bob Holt and Tom Hart. And tomorrow I finally get to do a show on the road in the SEC. It's been a while since I did that, Ty, because we'll be in Columbia, South Carolina tonight. Stay over for tomorrow night's game. So that means I better find a place. I've got to start greasing some hands and kissing some babies over there at the Columbia Marriott Hotel so they can give me a free room to do the show because I'm not paying.
I told you to go to Pavs tonight, the college bar there in Columbia, because you'll be the oldest person there by like 22 years. And I think it'd be really funny to see you walk in there and everyone stare at you.
Well, it'll just continue the experience we had at Auburn. And since they won at Auburn, if you want to be superstitious about it, right? And Mike Neighbors is tiny-stitious, we might as well do the same thing. We'll come back right after this top of the hour break.
Attention Arkansas Valley Electric Cooperative members. Do you need a better internet provider? One who treats you like a member and not a number? Then check out our new fiber internet services from Wave Rural Connect. We are bringing state-of-the-art, high-speed fiber, internet, TV, and phone services right into your home. If you are an Arkansas Valley Electric Cooperative member, go to waveruralconnect.com to sign up. That's waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-4WAVE-RC. Arkansas Valley Electric Cooperative and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
With over 40 years combined experience, the team at the law offices of Craig L. Cook understand the definition of work. Real work. Working for you. Whether you've been injured in an auto accident, on the job, a victim of nursing home negligence, or need help navigating bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook, with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people.
Did someone say, I'm hungry? Visit 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge on the Avenue. Try the new panini sandwiches like the Chicken Pyro or the Cubana or the signature 906 wings. Jumbo wings roasted with honey bacon jam. Want some spice? Try the black and blue wings. Experience their salads, flatbreads, coffees and desserts, top shelf wines and liquors, premium beers, world-class cigars, all in an atmosphere that feels less like a lounge and more like a destination. Sample, indulge, escape. 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge. Treat your appetite on the Avenue.
Elite Roofing is a locally owned roofing contractor. If you're building a new home or maybe need a new roof on your existing home, Elite Roofing can take care of you. Elite Roofing is known for their dependability and reliability. Just ask any of their satisfied customers. They are licensed and insured, and references are available upon request. If you need a roof, call your local roofing contractors. Elite Roofing, 478-8668. That's 478-8668. Elite Roofing, 478-8668. Look your best with Perfecto Cleaners at the bottom of Fiena Hills. Count on same-day service, easy drive-through cover drop-off and pickup window, and fast turnaround on alterations. Perfecto Cleaners always goes the extra mile to ensure your clothes look their best, making you look your best. Be sure to clip their coupons in the yellow pages, and as always, in by 9 and out by 5 Monday through Friday. Perfecto Cleaners, just off Jenny Lind at the bottom of Fiena Hills. Perfecto Cleaners, making you look your best.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
Clear, quiet weather tonight, and overnight low will drop down to near the freezing mark. We should see a whole lot of sunshine on Wednesday with highs in the low 60s. Wednesday night, partly to mostly cloudy, and overnight low near 45, and then a chance of rain and showers on Thursday, our high in the low 60s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
Weather is brought to you by OG&E Weatherization Program for Arkansas customers with homes at least 10 years old. Call 1-800-272-9741 for details or log on at OGE.com.
Proceed. KERX Paris Fort Smith. This is Halftime, coming at you from the Bush and Bushlight Studios on ESPN 95.3.
It's what I always listen to.
Hey, Coach Pittman, you got something to say?
Yeah, I do.
Go Hogs! Yes,
sir! Broadcasting live from the Bud Light Studio.
I love Arkansas! I love everything here! Give me that thing here! Woo!
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Why did that happen in Fayetteville, Arkansas?
Dixon Street. It'll get you.
Streaming live from
Hit that line.
.com.
You want answers! I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
This is Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Phil, you're one of the best baseball announcers in the country, and Ty, you're one of the best up-and-coming young talents in the broadcasting industry. You really do your homework.
It is my pleasure to offer you the opportunity to be the head football coach at the University of Arkansas.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. Woo Pig Suey.
Hey, hold on. It's almost halftime.
Second hour with us today, 877-377-6963. Phil Elson here with Ty Richardson. We've got Bill King from Nashville Sports Radio in 30 minutes. We'll get into the college football playoff championship. Little change my mind later on in the show. And, of course, your calls and texts leading up until tip-off tonight, 8 o'clock at the PMAC in Baton Rouge, Arkansas and LSU, game number 2 in conference for both teams. Arkansas coming off of a victory against Texas A&M, and LSU beat the doors off of Tennessee on the road. Tennessee did get a comeback victory yesterday against Missouri by 10, one of 3 road teams to get a win. Let's switch the conversation over to football a little bit here. And the news yesterday about Matt Rule leaving Baylor to go take the job with Carolina. Did you see the group text? I think it was a group text that Rule left his players. Saw it on Twitter last night. It was classy but short, and said the door is open. Please come in and visit me, because he'll still be in Baylor, I think, for the rest of the week. And you can see the way that the people in Waco felt about him, because the bridge that I think I've walked over, that bridge that takes over the Brazos, was Carolina Panther blue. So they're celebrating losing their head coach that turned that program around. And the trick is to find the next guy. And it seemed that Mississippi State is kind of left in the lurch in the wake after Rule's decision to spurn the New York Giants and take the Carolina job. Giants then hired Joe Judge. That had been Mississippi State's top target. And so now a couple of names that we've seen as their supposed top targets have said, no thank you. Billy Napier at Louisiana Lafayette. I got to remember to just lay off the Lafayette. They don't like that part of it, but you know what? You are Louisiana Lafayette. Just be lucky nobody's calling you Southwestern Louisiana still. And Judge, the other. So reports are coming out. Aaron Suttles, who covers Alabama athletics at The Athletic and also hosts a show on Jocks 95, says that there's mutual interest between Mississippi State and Steve Sarkisian.
After dark in Stark Vegas. That'd be interesting.
So how'd it go for the last offensive coordinator that jetted away from Alabama? Was that Enos's job at Alabama? Was he the OC or was he quarterback's coach?
So he was at one point the OC, and then quarterback's coach. I think I say that. I think he was the OC at one point. Yeah, because Kiffin, Sark, and then I think it went to Enos unless Sark was still on staff. But I feel like that wasn't the case. But you might have to double check me on that.
Teams love to find. No, it was Loxley, the Maryland head coach.
Yeah, and Dabble before, who's at Buffalo. Right. That might get another NFL job. So
Sarkisian, who's been a head coach, had some success at Washington. The episode at USC, I think, is a whole different thing. I doubt Sark is showing up to work drunk these days, as the reports came out from his time at Southern California. So that would be an interesting choice. Probably, it sounds like it actually might be a pretty good choice if that's the direction Mississippi State goes in. But they're going to have to find somebody pretty soon, cobble together a staff. Meanwhile, everybody else in the SEC pretty much has their staffs figured out, including all of Arkansas's coaching staff.
I was on Mississippi State's 24/7 message board yesterday, and there's some fans that want Kevin Kelly as their next head coach. So Kevin Kelly's name, Pulaski Academy head coach, is actually stretched not only throughout Arkansas but into Mississippi as well, which I kind of found interesting.
Does this go? I mean, how many message boards do you pay attention to? Because this has to be like you expect it coming out when it comes to the Arkansas coaching search, just because Kevin Kelly is a high school coach in Arkansas, but he's known across the country in football circles as that crazy coach in Arkansas that never punts and always does the onside kick. So I would imagine if you did a Google search that was limited just to college football fan blogs, that the name Kevin Kelly would come up quite a few times.
Once or twice, yeah.
Or at least they would just say, what about that crazy coach who never punts? And they might not even know his name.
Yeah, the HBO little documentary they did, he's come on national radio before he's been on local radio, so his name's kind of gotten out there a little bit. But we always talk about transition. Obviously, it's gonna be interesting to see if Matt Rule can transition from the collegiate level to the NFL level. Can he have the successful future with Cam Newton, potentially without Cam Newton, depending on what they do there, and there's not a lot of. I say that there's more than I'm actually giving credit for, but I wonder if a guy like Rick Jones, a guy like Kevin Kelly, and Barry Lenny Sr. didn't make the jump. Unless my history is off, but like some of these legendary Arkansas high school football coaches in the state, if they ever make the jump to the college level, whether at Arkansas or somewhere else, we see one in Missouri and Eli Drinkowitz, and I know he wasn't a high school coach for that long, but I'm curious to some of the more notable guys inside the state if they ever make that jump to the college level, if that's in their interest or if they're just really happy where they are.
I wonder if they'd look at Blake Anderson at Mississippi State.
He's a name that's gotten tossed out there too.
It's a regional name. I know he was given a look at Missouri, but is Mississippi State going to at this point consider somebody that Missouri considered but said no thanks to? You wonder, but apparently Skip Holtz, his name always gets tossed around from the jobs that are anywhere near Ruston. And I did find it interesting, according to our friend Connor O'Gara at Saturday Down South, who I think he's got a nice personal relationship with Gene Chizik. He wrote nice things about him in a column in Saturday Down South a couple of months ago. Connor tweeted yesterday, and I think I'm guessing that his source was Coach Chizik, actually.
Himself, yeah.
Yes. He said a source said that Gene Chizik did interview with Mississippi State and turned them down. Or not even, I don't think it was a matter of turning them down, but he said not interested in it, removed his name from consideration, so didn't even allow himself to be offered the job.
I always find it funny when a person in sports media says a source when you know who that person is that they got the information from, whether it was directly or if you know that they're like best friends with someone connected to a certain coach, a certain general manager. You know who it is, but they obviously have to put the word source in there, so that and I'm putting air quotes around source isn't lambasted or identified or whatever the case may be. But I always just found that a little funny when people.
Well, I mean, I feel we're carrying on the ESPN tradition of saying sources when sources are Twitter.
Yeah.
that's what your sources can be. Maybe a few more times than not.
That would be like the equivalent of me when you get your first MLB job, say sources tell me that Phil Elson is leaving the Arkansas baseball booth to go take the Pirates play-by-play. That would be like, okay, who's your source? Oh, it's your buddy that you've been doing radio for the past couple years. Like, it's people aren't stupid. People aren't as stupid as they're sometimes made out to be. That's just, it's connecting the dots and it's the obvious.
I'm going to see if IMG will allow me to rename the Dave Van Horn interview for every baseball broadcast as Sources with Dave Van Horn. And just sources say Casey Martin is going to bat third today in the lineup. And let the source, the actual source of the lineup card do the talking about it. And we'll see exactly what Dave thinks about that.
What's it called now? Clubhouse Talk? Or
No, it's just the Dave Van. It's not even called the Dave Van Horn Show. It's the Dugout Show. That's the pregame show is called the Dugout Show. So it's just part. That's just along for the ride.
Part of the Dugout Show. Okay.
Right. There is no Dave Van Horn Show, although I feel like there should be. The basketball coach gets a television show and a radio show. Football coach does the same. The baseball coach coaches more games than the two sports put together. Than basketball and football actually play. But he does do a 2-segment interview with me for every broadcast, or whomever's doing the broadcast, because I will be missing, probably at least a couple handfuls of games because of women's basketball. So he does just as much talking as the other coaches do, and maybe even more so.
Is that common for baseball coaches to have like a weekly show during season across like the SEC?
Yeah, a lot of places do that. Okay. And it's the same talk show wherever you go across the SEC. There's Tiger Talk in LSU, there's Tiger Talk in Auburn, and it's usually whatever sport is in session at that point.
I'm just curious, and you might ask Dave this off the record, if Dave had something in his contract where he didn't have to do that, because I could see him being like, I don't want to do that.
I'm sick of talking to that guy. Yeah.
Not necessarily. I'm not talking to you, but but just like not doing the show itself weekly during baseball season.
If there's one thing that he would get in his contract that he wouldn't have to do, it would be the mid-game hits on ESPN television while the game's being played. I'd go along with him for that. Come along with us into the second segment, so stick around.
The best midday show in the Natty State. You're listening to Halftime. This is the Morning Rush.
It's amazing the defense that Arkansas basketball is playing right now. I just don't see in any way they ever get blown out by any team in this conference. They're no longer going to go on the road and get blown out by 20, 25 points like you've seen previously. This defense and what Eric Musselman has been able to coach these guys to do is what's going to carry them into having a lot of success once SEC play really gets rolling.
Don't miss the Morning Rush. Weekdays from 6 till 9. Only on ESPN 95.3.
Is your home at least 10 years old and served by OG&E? OG&E is offering Arkansas customers a free weatherization program to increase your comfort and lower your bills. A trained crew will perform an energy audit at no cost to you, and if your home qualifies, our crews will install measures that will save you money. The services provided through this program are absolutely free to qualifying homes. If you could benefit from free home weatherization improvements, call OG&E at 1-800-272-9741. That's 1-800-272-9741.
Protection with possibilities. Have past losses made you cautious about taking on risk with your investments? Are you concerned that your savings are not generating the returns you need? If you are interested in protecting your money and capturing potential investment growth, contact Brad Lewis at United Financial Advisors at 242-7466 or ufadvisors.net to see whether market-linked CDs may be the right solution for you.
Securities and advisory service offered through Royal Alliance Associates, member FINRA, SIPC. United Financial Advisors is a marketing destination.
Did someone say, I'm hungry? Visit 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge on the Avenue. Try the new panini sandwiches like the chicken pyro or the cubana or the signature 906 wings. Jumbo wings roasted with honey bacon jam. Want some spice? Try the black and blue wings. Experience their salads, flatbreads, coffees and desserts, top shelf wines and liquors, premium beers, world-class cigars, all in an atmosphere that feels less like a lounge and more like a destination. Sample, indulge, escape. 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge. Treat your appetite on the Avenue.
Well, the new year is in full swing and it's business as usual. but it doesn't have to be. If you're stuck with an old phone system or an old slow internet connection, chances are the technology curve has passed you by. Why not let Pinnacle Telecom help you get back up to speed? With lightning-fast fiber internet connections and IP phone systems, Pinnacle Telecom can ensure you're not left behind. Get 4 new IP phones for as little as $99 per month. Check us out at pinnacletelecom.com. Pinnacle Telecom, tomorrow's technology today.
Have you been looking for your next place to call home and just haven't found the right one? Then it's time to check out the properties at Trinity Multifamily. With a variety of apartments, duplexes, townhomes, and houses, there is surely one to fit your needs. Whether it's in the River Valley, Northwest Arkansas, or Central Arkansas that you are looking at, they have you covered. Give them a call today. Trinity Multifamily, 479-452-1817. That's 479-452-1817. Or online at trinitymultifamily.com to search rental properties near you.
Tri-Hill Turf offers the highest quality turf and pest services. Hey, you say those are big words. Well, let's see. Tri-Hill Turf and Pest has a company agronomist, state and nationally certified technicians, free soil testing, and they even have precision GPS guided application equipment. Now that's high tech. For over 30 years, Tri-Hill Turf and Pest has used the latest application technology, and they strive for turf and pest excellence. They are your local turf and pest experts. Call the local team at 782-0404. Tri-Hill Turf and Pest.
Harry Robinson Buick GMC has over 200 pre-owned vehicles to choose from luxury to economy and everything in between, including over 50 great vehicles with payments under $250 a month, certain to fit your needs and your budget. And at Harry Robinson Buick GMC, you always get more for your trade. 50 vehicles with payments under $250 a month at Harry Robinson Buick GMC, Exit 11 off I-540 in Fort Smith.
This is ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey!
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Into play, Jalen Harris gets inside, lays it up, high off the glass, he makes it with 5.9 to play. And now Kermit Davis and Ole Miss will take a timeout.
877-377-6963 on a beautiful Wednesday across this natural state. Phil Elson and Ty Richardson. What was this video that I saw of Bobby Portis last night with what looked like a pretty dirty play against the Los Angeles Lakers? I mean, I'd read about it, but now you watch that right arm coming through, and it really doesn't look like Bobby Portis had much of a thought of going after the basketball. That is some old school 1980s NBA Detroit Pistons bad boy stuff there. That's Kurt Rambis versus Kevin McHale. That's the kind of stuff that you, Ty, has been talking about that you sort of wish you were around to see back in 35, 40 years ago.
The legendary clothesline in that 1984 finals that you're referring to, where McHale just absolutely obliterated Kurt Rambis, and Kurt tried to get up, and he tripped and fell down again. It's quite funny. But here, I'll defend Bobby for a sec. Bobby's kind of clunky at certain times. He's awkward, and he's not the most athletic guy in the world. So I think, this is just my opinion, I think he was going for the ball, and like when he made that, it never looks good when you like fully wind up and swipe. I'll agree with you there, but I think he didn't realize how much KCP, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, was going to get up, and then when he was going for the ball, he nailed his head. Then obviously he fell to the floor. LeBron James got in his face. You have people asking him to be thrown out of the game and stuff. So I think it escalated quite quickly. Personally, based on what I've seen, based on what people tell me about Bobby, he's not really a dirty player. So I'm just anticipating, and again, this is just an educated guess, that he did not mean to do that. Now, I didn't watch the game. There could have been something leading up to that point that caused him to do that. But I'm gonna stand in his corner and defend the 501 kid and just say he didn't mean to, but he's not that athletic, and it ended up just happening the way it did last night, Phil.
I mean, there is a reputation for Bobby. You know, the crazy eyes Bobby, the guy who dropped a teammate with a single punch last year.
501, built different.
Hey, I mean, there's a toughness to him, but there's also a little bit of a wild card to him.
Mirotic had it coming last year. I don't know why, but he had it coming.
Yeah, I'm sure. You're already. You have no idea what happened between the two of them. But
no
I mean,
clue.
it's got to be a frustrating season for Bobby Portis, really. I mean, I know he got himself a decent contract with a really bad Knicks team, but he's getting fewer minutes than he was getting with the Bulls, and he's not scoring as much. He's not touching the ball as much. The Knicks stink. The loss yesterday, their third in a row. They're 17 games under 500 with only 10 wins, and are one out of dead last in the Eastern Conference. And I thought the Knicks weren't they talking it up before the season started that they were all about the motivation. They were all about. I don't even remember the things they were saying, but it was that they were threatening to make some big move, and all they ended up doing was getting their coach David Fizdale fired 22 games in.
And they're eyeing on Anthony Davis. They have some good young pieces. You think about Julius Randle. You think about Kevin Knox, and I'm forgetting the lefty that played for Duke, R.J. Barrett, and then Bobby and some others. So, but the GM, whose name I can't remember at the moment, was angry at Fizdale and thought he compiled a better roster for him to be at this point. Obviously, Fizdale got fired. I can't remember if the Knicks GM got fired or not, but it's always just a frustrating situation because you think about the New York Knicks franchise. I mean, they've been, it was either 94 or 95 they were in the finals. They were at the 99 finals when they lost to the Spurs. And then you think about those 70 teams with Earl the Pearl Monroe, Clyde Frazier, Willis Reed in the miraculous Game 7 where he dislocated his elbow, his shoulder, and he played, which is just unbelievable. It's one of the greatest comebacks you've ever seen. This is just a franchise that is typically in disarray, Phil. It's not, and it's weird because it's New York, but the New York, you got to deal with the New York media and stuff. This is a text from Carl in Lavaca, Phil, concerning the hit last night. He says SEC on SEC foul. KCP, who went to Georgia, didn't want that smoke. I'm sure Bobby is just frustrated to be in New York, just like you were referring to.
What, did they ever play against each other?
I don't know if they played
in the SEC.
I know
Arkansas
KCP
sees Georgia but once a year.
Yeah, I know KCP went there. I don't remember, and it's Kentavious Caldwell Pope. I don't remember if they matched up and what years Pope played in. I'll look that up real quick. But
you're talking about the Knicks here. It's amazing to see what the Knicks have become. They're sort of, I mean, they've been like the Cleveland Browns of the NBA for this entire century, and they were a consistent winning team throughout most of the 80s. I mean, once they got Patrick Ewing, they turned into a playoff team just about every year. And now they've been in the playoffs only 3 of the last 15 seasons, and routinely, I mean, barely even win over 40% of their games. And the Knicks are supposed to be, I mean, at one point the Knicks were one of the more winningest franchises in the NBA. They didn't have all the NBA championships, but they certainly had a lot of great regular seasons. And
Dave DeBusschere, Bill Bradley. I mean, they had some dudes back in the day. So speaking of DeBusschere, he was part of the rigged 84 lottery with Ewing.
Was that a rigged lottery?
Yeah, the frozen.
That was
envelope.
the one I think you remember talking. So I heard a piece. David Stern passed away.
Mm-hmm.
What was it, last week? I'd forgotten about this interview. You remember the interview that Jim Rome did with David Stern, where he presented to him the opportunity to he asked him about he asked him if any of the drafts have ever been rigged, or at least if the lottery's ever been rigged, and David Stern did not take very kindly to that question, and he turned the question on its head, and the words that came out of Stern's mouth next were, "Have you stopped beating your wife, Jim?" And I was absolutely floored. I didn't even know if there was any accusations about that in Rome's life. I had no clue. I haven't looked it up since, but I did hear what I heard from this exchange.
Wow.
From a number of years ago.
I've read some stuff on Jim Rome. I know Marv Albert. He's had some domestic violence issues in his past. I
didn't know anything about Rome in that case, but I mean that's just. And to Rome's credit, he didn't end the interview at that moment. He said, I think that's a little bit unfair. You're thinking, boy, is that the way you wanted to put it, Jim? Or was there a different way to put it, one that might involve a little bit of anger?
And I don't mean, and I'm not stomping on the late David Stern's grave or anything, but there was at least one lottery rigged. It's just, I just can't believe that at least one of those lotteries when he was in office as the commissioner that they were
I just don't know how you can pull that off. I mean, if you see
frozen envelope, bent banner. I mean, there's a number of different. Have you seen those? I mean, I love theories. Like you need.
Yeah, I remember you. I forget the exact theory about the frozen envelope, but I remember you bringing this up before.
So they froze the envelope. You're spinning it around. And you're just feeling around. And then when one's cold, it's all right. That's the one. Or it's the bent. The envelope was bent, and it looked like it was the only one that was bent. So there's that theory as well. There is a slew of theories you can look at when it concerns this. And I believe, I just want to make sure.
And most of them, probably all of them, are crackpot.
Sure.
There can be tons of theories, but usually theories are crackpot.
Hey, there's some validities to some of the stuff out there. Sometimes when there's smoke, there's fire. You're a guy that never believes any conspiracy theory, and I believe everyone. So we have to meet in the middle somehow, Phil. We have to find cordial ground and ground that we can agree upon, because there's always a little truth to some stuff that comes out. Not necessarily the full truth, but sometimes there's a little truth when you see something like that.
877-377-6963. Carl texts in, said he heard about Arkansas possibly pursuing Wake Forest quarterback transfer Jamie Newman and wants some thoughts on that. And here's the thing. There's available playing time for any quarterback that's a graduate transfer, or at least, I shouldn't say available playing time, because you will have to compete. You will have to compete for the playing time with KJ Jefferson. It's going to come down to Jefferson and whomever transfers in. It's not going to be a true freshman that surprises everybody and chooses Arkansas in a few weeks. And it's not going to be two transfers coming in like last year. You look back at like what it was like a year ago. What an awkward situation for both Nick Starkel and for Ben Hicks to come into. And it's not to, rehash old stories, but two graduate transfers coming in competing for playing time, and both of them ended up having terrible, terrible seasons. I think there's going to be a transfer that comes into Arkansas to play quarterback, and I think that whomever it is going to have an opportunity to play.
So you got that walk-on Cade Pearson that we've already talked about. I think your formula, the blueprint that you're laying out is correct, Phil. You get a grad transfer in that has immediate eligibility that can play this season, and then you get a recruit. Now, a lot of people were pointing to, obviously, Malik Hornsby, who looked like he was pretty heavily favored to go to Baylor. With Matt Rule out the door, that could change. But I think bringing in two grad transfers might not be the best idea. But if you can bring in one grad transfer and then just get a quarterback, like a highly rated quarterback, if you can, in this upcoming recruiting class, I think that's probably the way to go, because then you would have, six. One walk-on, John Stephen Jones, Jack Lindsey, KJ Jefferson, and then the guy coming in as a freshman and the grad transfer. So I think that would be the way to go. But again, I don't know. It's whatever they want to do, whatever works out. Because you're fine, Phil. You don't care if they bring in like two or three, as long as you have a good quarterback next year and the years moving forward.
Do you remember when Nick Starkel made his announcement? When was it?
At one point, he had the tweet pinned. Let me see if I can find that.
Was it late January, or because he had to come to campus for spring ball? Or no, he didn't show up for it. That's right. He finished out he might have made the announcement in January, but he finished out classes at A&M. So it was a different situation than I think for some other quarterbacks that already have their classes finished out, have already graduated, and can just show up on campus after making the announcement.
March 4th is when he announced it.
March 4th. Wow, that just seems a little bit late, doesn't it? All right, we're going to go to the phones and have Bill King from Nashville Sports Radio to talk some college football after the break. Stay tuned for halftime.
The best midday show in the Natty State. You're listening to Halftime.
We've invented a new messaging system using the crisp sounds of Bud Light. Crisp Code, Football Edition. This is how you say, game tonight. Bring Bud Light. Fantasy fees are due. That's it for today.
Brewed with no corn syrup. Bud Light, crisp. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
It's cold outside. Did you know many natural gas appliances can operate even when the power is out? Natural gas fireplaces, gas logs, space heaters, ranges, grills, outdoor lights, and backup generators will operate when you need them the most. Install efficient, safe, and reliable natural gas appliances today. It's the right choice. Call 784-2000 or visit AOGC.com to experience the benefits of natural gas today. AOG, energy for life.
Hi, this is Melissa with True Grit Running Company. We love it when a new year rolls around. It's a clean slate and a chance to start over. Who doesn't love that? We want to help you make 2020 your year. Come in, share your goals with us, and we'll help you achieve them. Not only do we have the best running products, but we have the know-how, the connections, and events to get you started and keep you going. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram for all the fun happenings at True Grit Running Company, 6808 Rogers Avenue, Suite B, behind Chick-fil-A.
Elite Roofing is a locally owned roofing contractor. If you're building a new home or maybe need a new roof on your existing home, Elite Roofing can take care of you. Elite Roofing is known for their dependability and reliability. Just ask any of their satisfied customers. They are licensed and insured, and references are available upon request. If you need a roof, call your local roofing contractors. Elite Roofing, 478-8668. That's 478-8668. Elite Roofing, 478-8668. Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One has a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
The new year is here, and Art's Barbecue and Burgers is ready with healthy choices on their menu. Art's Barbecue and Burgers has smoked chicken that will melt in your mouth, a variety of salads to choose from, plus a grilled chicken breast that's always a smart option. And use the Waiter app to have the full menu at Art's Barbecue and Burgers brought to your home or business. Art's Barbecue and Burgers, giving you healthy choices to start the new year off right. Art's Barbecue and Burgers, next to Aaron's on Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith.
This is ESPN 95.3.
Hey, City!
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Into the front court, they hand it off to Joe. Nice pick and roll. Bailey with a one-hand throwdown. How about that? The assist, the throwdown, and the Hogs are up by 5.
Been a while since we were able to talk college football with Bill King, the king of college football talk, hosting 6 to 9 Nashville Sports Radio. He's on our phones right now. Bill, Happy New Year. How was the holiday?
You too, guys. Very good, very good. I don't go out on New Year's Eve, so that's amateur night. I just stay in, and I get in a bunker is what I do.
Ty finally had a disappointing New Year's. I've been fighting this battle with him for 16 months that New Year's is the most overrated holiday, and he finally had a dud of a New Year's, so I felt like he grew up a little bit, Bill.
Oh, I totally agree. Totally overrated and incredibly dangerous. So I don't even remember the last time I went out on New Year's Eve.
So we know that this championship game on Monday is the LSU offense against the Clemson defense. Are we falling asleep a little bit on Clemson's ability to, I don't know about keep up with LSU, but, I mean, they do have some pretty darn good players on the offensive side. Are we forgetting about Clemson's offense a bit?
I don't think that's it. I just think LSU is so overwhelming offensively, it supersedes everything. Clemson's got a potential number 1 pick in the draft at quarterback. They've got a first-round running back. They've got at least one first-round wide receiver, if not a couple. Offensive line is solid. Yeah, I just don't know that anybody keeps up. LSU is just so incredibly hot right now that I'm not sure Clemson can keep up.
I mean, we hear some of the experts. You know, Kirk Herbstreit says something like, "This is the best I've ever seen an offense play in my time covering college football." You know, I mean, some of the more outlandish statements. You've been watching the game for a long time. Does this LSU offense compare to the great offenses of college football history, or do they supersede some of them?
I don't allow myself to think that way because the freshness always makes us think it's the best ever. Now, it might well be, but I need some time with that. My favorite offenses in the last, 15 years would be West Virginia with Pat White, Steve Slade, Rich Rodriguez. The 08 Oklahoma team was incredibly revved up. Kevin Wilson was their coordinator back then. And Alabama's most recently has been ridiculous. Last year, I mean, it was. We were talking about Alabama's offense being somewhat like Nebraska, not the same style back in '95. The most dominant team of the modern era is Nebraska '95. They averaged beating their opponent by 38 points all the way through the championship. So those are a few of them, but LSU's right there. I mean, think about it. First-round pick at quarterback, well, first pick perhaps quarterback. Running back, stable, but Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who's been wonderful. Plenty of receivers. Randy Moss's kid as your tight end, and the Joe Moore Award winner offensive line. That's pretty tough right there. And Joe Brady, who's the hottest thing in college football, calling passing plays.
Bill, let me ask you about Joe Brady. I know they were trying to make his salary obviously go up, I think upward to $1 million. Do you think he sticks with that LSU through the offseason, or do you think he's going to find himself another destination, maybe at the NFL level after this year?
I don't think. See, I think Joe Brady's really smart. Not just as a play caller, but he's 30. What's the rush? He's going to be making a lot of money. He's going to be making 7 figures next contract, which will come up right after this game. He'll be making 7 figures, and he's going to have choices. It's not like Joe Brady is typical of an assistant coach. These guys are always thinking, I better take it now. You never know. I don't think he feels that way. I think he knows, hey, man, I'm a hot commodity, and I don't think he'll be there long, maybe another year, but I would be shocked unless somebody just hands him everything, and I don't think this is his time. I think he ends up staying.
Talking with Bill Keaton, Nashville Sports Radio here on Halftime. Bill, we haven't gotten a chance for you to gauge Arkansas's big hires this offseason. You got Barry Odom as your new defensive coordinator, and then Kendall Briles takes over the OC position. I know that you and I were kind of in the same camp where we weren't too thrilled with Sam Pittman's hire. I've kind of gone the other way with the coordinator hires he's made. I'm starting to inch that other way. Bill, what do you think about the 2 hires for both the OC and the DC at Arkansas?
Yeah, I think it's solid, but it still doesn't fix my problem, and that's personnel. Their problem, and I know the past coach had issues and apparently had to go, but their problem is personnel. And now, good hires here, and I hope it works out. They're in a brutal division, the SEC West, but it's going to be about the acquisition of talent, and then they'll get coached up. I'm not worried about that part at all. It's Arkansas's inability or loss of market share in recruiting, which is killing them.
Bill, I want to go back to the LSU topic with Joe Brady. You might just come out and say pretty easily that it's one or the other. Who do you think's been more important for the Tigers this year? Has it been Joe Brady, or do you think it's been Joe Burrow?
Well, I'll go with Burrow. Somebody's got to execute it. We can draw up the fanciest stuff in the world, still got to execute it. No, I think Joe Burrow is playing as good at quarterback right now as probably anybody we've watched in recent memory, particularly in a pro-style situation. Now, again, he's got a lot of bodyguards. He's got weaponry everywhere, but he's executing it. So I'd say the quarterback. You've got to have somebody do that. I don't think. And I'm not saying anybody's suggesting this. I don't think you just take anybody, put them in that same system, and say they're as good as Joe Burrow. I think early quarterbacks could have success there because of the talent. But no, I'd go with the player.
We saw earlier today that Georgia's lost an offensive lineman transferring to Tennessee, according to Mark Schlabach. Jake Fromm is going to the NFL. Georgia lost their top recruit who decommitted. Got a couple of coaches going with Sam Pittman to Arkansas. Do you think the ground's shaking a little bit under Georgia, or is this just normal off-season stuff?
Well, their 2 offensive tackles who declared prior are high picks. They're gone. And then Cade Mays, who started most of his freshman year, started 11 games this year. And then Jake Fromm. Let's start with the SEC East. The SEC East was, again, going to be a slam dunk. Georgia's going to win. Now, even though they've got wonderful talent everywhere, they've got to transition a new quarterback. They got a freshman that they redshirted out of Michigan that they flipped late from a year ago. And then they got this Carson Beck kid out of Jacksonville. I don't think either's ready. They're going to need a grad transfer. And the word is, the momentum at the moment is Jamie Newman out of Wake Forest, who's transferring. He is a big-time quarterback talent. Leaving Wake because he didn't want to be part of an RPO offense. That's not what Georgia does. They're a pro-style offense. Watch out for that right there. But at the moment, the SEC is open just because of Jake Fromm. I think it only opens to Florida. I don't think Tennessee's ready yet. I think Tennessee's number 3. But I think it tightens up Georgia and Florida because Florida's got their QB.
Mm-hmm.
They're in good shape there. Watch out for the grad transfer. Georgia's got to get one. It's imperative. If they get a good one like Jamie Newman, then they take control again because they still have the talent advantage. Matter of fact, they may have the best talent, including the SEC West, if they get their quarterback thing settled in the SEC next year, including Alabama, including LSU, et cetera.
And Alabama's not caught off guard by Tua Tagovailoa's announcement to go to the NFL. But you wonder who's game ready right now. Mac Jones certainly had some good moments. Do you think Jones is the starter next year? Do you think Tualia gets a look? Or do you think Alabama's in the transfer market?
Well, I don't think they're going to take if they take a transfer, it'll just be for security. It won't be because he's a threat to start, I don't think. The quarterback is Bryce Young. Now, let me give you an irony. Remember 4 years ago, Alabama opened up with Southern Cal. And once Jalen Hurts got in that game, that first game, and it was a wrap. He was the quarterback. This next year, they open up in Arlington with Southern Cal. Mac Jones will start out. They're going to be conservative here. They don't want to run other people off. They'll start him out at quarterback and let him lose it. Bryce Young, who's a better talent than Jalen Hurts, who is a fantastic arm talent and also athlete, will take that job eventually. And I don't think we were speculating today, so put this under speculation, but I think when this is pretty clear, I don't think Tagovailoa will even stick around. He'll jump in the portal, and I don't think Alabama will let that happen this spring because they won't declare to anybody, and they won't make it obvious in camp. That's a ploy that's used in a lot of spring practice quarterbacks. Coaches do this all the time, but I think once reality hits in the fall, watch out.
Bill, it's good to talk with you again. Have a great start to your new year.
Okay, guys.
Enjoy the football championship.
Thank you, guys.
You got it. Bill King, 6 to 9, Nashville Sports Radio, and joins us usually every Wednesday at this very moment.
Philly brings up a good point. You know, when we were talking about potentially Lane Kiffin to Arkansas, one of the things that someone said, I don't remember if it was Bill or someone else, maybe Talia could be in the grad transfer market and end up because they have that connection. What happens? He winds up at Ole Miss. That'd be interesting.
Very interesting. And that's the second time we've heard of Jamie Newman's name mentioned on this show as well. Well done, Carl in Lavaca. 877-377-6963. We'll wrap it up after this.
Good coaches win. Great coaches cover. You're listening to Halftime.
Head to toe, it's gotta be Jelco for hard work and the great outdoors.
With quality and price and comfort you like, and savings that you're looking for.
We've got the shoes and boots, steel toes too, outerwear and a whole lot more.
Head to toe, it's gotta be Jelco
for hard work and the great outdoors.
What's your family's security worth to you? Have you put off adding a security system to your home for another year? Or are you just waiting for someone to break in to be that final straw? Use your income tax return to add a security system to your home for as little as $495 and $15.95 a month. Guardtronic has a package to help secure your home. Call today for a free estimate, 479-785-2323, or visit the website, guardtronic.com. License EO50.
Look your best with Perfecto Cleaners at the bottom of Fiena Hills. Count on same-day service, easy drive-through cover drop-off and pickup window, and fast turnaround on alterations. Perfecto Cleaners always goes the extra mile to ensure your clothes look their best, making you look your best. Be sure to clip their coupons in the yellow pages, and as always, in by 9 and out by 5 Monday through Friday. Perfecto Cleaners, just off Jenny Lind at the bottom of Fiena Hills. Perfecto Cleaners, making you look your best.
And now, a page from the Diary of Flo.
Dear Diary, there's something about protecting people's homes through Progressive that inspires me, because I just had an idea for a book. Well, it was originally an idea for a movie based on a play inspired by a podcast. But the idea is how you can save when you bundle home and auto. Might not be the best idea for a book.
Save an average of 17% on car insurance when you bundle home and auto through Progressive.
Maybe a radio commercial? Guess we'll never know.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations. And now, a page from the Diary of Flo.
Dear Diary, there's something about protecting people's homes through Progressive that inspires me, because I just had an idea for a book. Well, it was originally an idea for a movie based on a play inspired by a podcast. But the idea is how you can save when you bundle home and auto. Might not be the best idea for a book.
Save an average of 17% on car insurance when you bundle home and auto through Progressive.
Maybe a radio commercial? Guess we'll never know.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
Hey, so are you the type of guy that wants to look put together, but doesn't want to spend hours at the mall finding new clothes? So you can look great at the office, on the road, or even just on the weekend with friends and family? I hear you. This is why there's Stitch Fix, your personal styling service that delivers hand-picked clothes right to you. Stitch Fix is simple. Sign up in just a few minutes. Tell them about the brands that work for you, and even let them know what types of styles you prefer. Stitch Fix is convenient. You get great clothes delivered right to you, so you can try new styles on in the comfort of your own home and make a decision without any pressure. And Stitch Fix is on your terms and priced to match your budget. There's no subscription required ever. Keep what you want and send back anything you don't. So, isn't it time you got it all together? Get started today at StitchFix.com. Stitch Fix, personal styling for men, women, and kids. Stitch Fix, personal styling for everybody.
It's a new year, a time for fresh starts and positive changes. Let us help your vehicle reflect your good vibes by making it look its best. If you find yourself a victim of the winter weather, we will work with your insurance company and help you throughout the process. We offer a lifetime warranty and a complete interior detail with all repairs. We can quickly restore cloudy headlights, making them look like new and brightening your road for better vision on these dark winter nights. Think of us at Evans Body Shop when you need any auto body repairs.
Evans Body Shop, where we meet the nicest people by accident.
This is ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey!
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Jones drives inside, finger roll goes and one. Jones had an avenue to the basket, drew the contact from Armstrong, got it to go. The lead's 14, and Mason's headed to the free throw line.
All right, we'll close it up today. And, of course, you got Ruskin and Zach taking you, well, not right up to tip-off. They got you 3 to 6. 7:30 for the Learfield IMG pregame. 8 o'clock, Pete Maravich Assembly Center, Arkansas LSU basketball. Hogs a 6-point underdog. And that's where I'll start Change My Mind.
I changed my mind.
Hi, Joey.
Hey, how you doing?
He won't sell anybody out to buy his future.
How can you be so obtuse? What did you call me? Obtuse? Is it deliberate? Son, you're forgetting yourself.
Change my mind.
There's some road wins this year for Arkansas. I think that this Razorback team, they're not going to be a 500 team on the road, but you could see 3, potentially 4 road victories in the SEC. I don't think tonight's going to be one of them. I think that this LSU team, more than anything, because they're playing at home, I think they'll get the calls. They'll get the benefit of the calls. They'll be playing in front of, I think it's going to be a pretty riled-up crowd, size-wise nonetheless. The LSU fans that are there are going to be very raucous. It's a good LSU team. One of our texters earlier today made a very good point to say, look, I mean, athletically, they match up against Arkansas very well in ways that some other teams don't. So it's not a matter of, well, Arkansas doesn't have the size to match up with LSU. It's that LSU has the speed and the shootability to match up with Arkansas. Now, look, if this game was being played at Bud Walton Arena, I'd say it's a win for the Razorbacks. With this game being on the road at the PMAC and LSU not as good as they were last year, but still – I think they're in the upper echelon of the SEC this season. Look, Arkansas is going to get a road win this week, but it's going to be at Ole Miss. I don't think it'll be tonight. There's something about this matchup, and maybe I've got a little bit of Chicken Little going on, and maybe there's some fans out there that just feel like, not that the sky is going to fall, but just that what you've seen over the first however many games and just the one loss, that it isn't the reality of what this team really is. I mean, look, they're not going to go throughout the rest of the season with just one loss. And this is the best offensive team that they've faced when it comes to the ability to drive to the basket, when it comes to the ability to run their offense successfully, and they've done this against some pretty good teams. I see the first loss coming tonight. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think you're going to see a really good game that comes down to the last couple of minutes. And if LSU hits some free throws at the end, which they do fairly well, by the way, 76% of the foul line, I think LSU will win. But I don't know if they'll cover. So do you want? I mean, I'm not going to have this go for our picks, Ty, because I've already given up. But okay. I say Arkansas covers, LSU wins. Change my mind.
So I mentioned earlier that I thought Arkansas had to score at least 65 points in order to win this basketball game. I think they score 64, and I think LSU scores 68. Got a text here from Brian. Phil, if you want to text in, 877-377-6963. He says because you predicted Indiana to win last week that he's going to take the Hogs tonight. Because
that's fine. That's fine. Hey, look, I think that it showed Arkansas matched up well with a team like Indiana that had again, I don't want to use the word advantage, but more size. But you know what? I mean, if that's the way you want to go with it, Brian, if you want to go with the idea that since I said Arkansas loses at Indiana and they won, if that's your reasoning for why Arkansas wins today, more power to you. I hope you're right.
Got a text in here from Aaron in Clarksville as well, Phil. He says, I'll say this again. This team gives me the feeling that I'm dating a girl that is way too hot for me, and you're just waiting for things to go south. Things are just going to go well. I think football has my mind twisted, but I just can't take my guard down. Because there is going to be a lapse. We didn't play this clip, but for those who watched the Mason Jones press conference yesterday on hitthatline.com, he talked about that he wouldn't disappoint Eric Musselman and the team again. He felt like he had after the Western Kentucky loss. He said, we can't do that again. And I think he was more referring to the fact in how they lost, the manner and way they lost because they were up by 5 points and then let the lead slip away. This team's going to have lapses this season. This team's going to lose basketball games. They are not talented enough to go through the season undefeated or go like 16-2 in conference play. There's going to be points during the season that you're going to be disappointed with this basketball team. That doesn't mean they're not going to make the tournament. That doesn't mean they're not going to have a successful season. They are just going to have some bumps in the road this year. But to your point, Phil, I can't change your mind because I'm in the same boat. I think they lose tonight as well.
I don't think that Arkansas is going to get blown out at any point in the SEC this year. I think they're going to be in every single game. But they're going to end up losing 5 or 6. To me, this one will be the first. So what do you got for me today, Ty?
So I just got this text, and I was going to do something else, but I got this text from my buddy Jay. Have you seen these Muscle Mania T-shirts?
Well, I just saw the shirt that you tweeted.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so these Muscle Mania T-shirts, and I put it on Twitter at Ty Sports Radio. I'm also showing it to our live stream audience so they can see that. A couple of my buddies have bought these. It's in black or white, and it's just a picture of Musselman jacked, ripping off his shirt. Phil, I think
he looks like the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, he looks like completely massive. And if you've seen a Nevada game, whether it was the NCAA tournament game, whether it's when they won the Mountain West Conference a few times, he's pretty in shape. Like he works out. What does he get up at like 4:30 or 5 in the morning?
Like a 2-hour daily workout.
Yeah, he like runs for an hour and then works out. It's pretty incredible.
He didn't have pecs that size though, as far as this picture's concerned. Oh, that's what he. It's not that he looks like the Incredible Hulk. He looks like Hulk Hogan, ripping off the famous T-shirt from back in the 80s.
That's what it is. So I think, my change my mind, Phil, is I think you will see him rip off his shirt at some point this season. I don't know if it's against Kentucky next Saturday if they manage to pull off that win. I don't know if it's they get to the NCAA tournament on the selection show and you just see him in front of his players just rip his dress shirt, or actually it'll probably be a polo, and they'll get it specially made so he can just rip it off. But at some point this season, and he's talked about numerous times how he's an emotional guy, an emotional coach, I think you will see Eric Musselman take off his shirt or rip it off after a big win or a big announcement like they go in the NCAA tournament or something of that nature. I just can't see that not happening. And Arkansas fans would eat that crap up.
But it can't be a routine thing. That's got to if you're going to do it, you can only really do it like once at a humongous moment.
Yeah, big time moment. So there's
no other sport where a coach can do this.
Exactly. Like
you can't. I mean, like a baseball player hits a game-ending home run, his teammates are going to yank his uniform off of his body. They're going to pull he's going to come away just bare-chested. That's a fact of nature in college baseball. But the coach, Dave Van Horn's uniform is staying on. Thank you very much. And as far as football, the idea of a coach ripping off his shirt is hilarious. And actually, I feel the same way about basketball, but for some reason, Eric Musselman gets a little bit of a pass. Like the next question is, would Miss Danielle write on his chest like she did at Nevada?
Again, that's a great question. So I guess we have to lay out the potential possible scenarios of when this could occur. I think a buzzer beater against a top team at home, and that's you don't really have a lot of options. You got Kentucky next Saturday. You got Auburn on a Tuesday or Wednesday. I think are just a big time win where you beat a ranked opponent like that at home. But again, there's not a ton of options moving forward based on what the SEC is right now. And then the NCAA tournament appearance maybe, or maybe a big time NCAA tournament win. There's not like a lot of different areas because, like you said, if he does this, it needs to be special. Like winning the Mountain West Conference several times when they did that was special. The NCAA tournament comeback win against Cincinnati was incredible. That was special. It doesn't need to be, I'm just going to do this because I've done it in years past. And I think he knows that. I think he knows how big of a deal that would be if Mrs. Danielle came in and after he ripped off his shirt and wrote something on it, whatever the case may be. Because, again, that's like Razorback fans would be all over that. Like he's already endeared himself enough to the fans. Like his level, you know what, we always talk about presidential approval rating. What is Eric Musselman's approval rating right now within the Arkansas fan base? Like 90-something?
It's at 100 right now.
Yeah, I mean, there's outside of the Western Kentucky, I know there's guys that are still, and gals that are still skeptical because he hasn't been here for more than a year. They're still waiting and seeing, which is fine. But to this point, 12-1, what he's established, culturally wise, everything that's gone along with his program, the recruits you got coming in next year. 4 of the top 100 kids in college basketball 2020 class are coming to your school next year. I think his approval rating's got to be through the roof in terms of just across college basketball. So I think hopefully that happens. I don't know if you could change my mind though that it won't, unless nothing good happens the rest of the year, which is just not going to be the case, Phil.
And if for some reason in my head I'm like picturing a shirtless Eric Musselman in the same way that I'm picturing a hairless Ty Richardson. In order to pull this off, what do we have to do? Do we need 2 road wins and for Arkansas to not be ranked in the top 25?
Correct.
Then the hair goes bye-bye, but you haven't agreed to shaving your eyebrows, correct?
Yeah, that would just be weird.
That would look really weird. Yeah, there's no doubt. Bill Quall says he thinks the Hogs go 14-1 and lose a close game against Kentucky. Brian texted in, says that Arkansas wins a close game. Aaron in Clarksville says there's going to be a cardboard cutout of Muss in the locker room like in Major League. I don't think you'll be peeling little pieces of clothing off of Muss like they did in Major League. And Robert in Van Buren wants to know if I'm still going to pull for the Pittsburgh Pirates come baseball season.
Okay, you were debating.
They cleaned house in the front office. Nutting finally admitted that he needed completely new leadership. So I'll keep my Pirate fan card for the time being, as is my right as a fan to do. All right, good to be with you today. For Ty, I'm Phil. Get up, get out, and get better.
Winter is actually